It's now time for Youth Forum. The future belongs to those who create it, the determined, the persistent, the creatives, essentially. Today in our Youth Forum, we discuss, well, we're going to be having a discussion where youth and art, where we're taking a deeper look in terms of the relevance and innovation when it comes on to artists. To help us to unpack this, we're going to have Ms. Kimmone Martin, Mr. Oshane Levy, as well as Ms. Jasmine Barnes. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Is art important today? Let's start there. Does it serve any real purpose?
All right. Of course it does. Art in itself is something that you get to express yourself from. I usually say it keeps me sane, right? Even if a lot of persons because I have friends that said, you know, I used to draw and stuff like that, and usually that's something that relaxes them, or if they play an instrument, even if they have their regular jobs, they just use that as something that's leisure.
So we used to do one of these things as a hobby growing up, and then it just withers away?
Yeah.
So you're saying it's important because of what it gives to each individual?
Yes.
Not only that, but remember, art came about before any other language because, example, in the caves and so forth, art was the first kind of language that came about. Example, with the stigmas on stones, that was art back then.
And how you document all the things that are happening as well.
Art is coming from like far, and it's indeed important.
It's pretty much a way of how you see yourself, right? And you see the world, right? Especially from my point of view, photography, you see the world through pictures, right? So I do mostly weddings, and it helps clients to relive those moments when you capture those beautiful moments on their wedding day, and for their kids and generations to see. So.
In terms of the art coming out of Jamaica, or even within Jamaica, what are our strongest or most prominent areas of expression right now?
Of course, it would be music.
Why do you think so?
Music, it's because, of course, I live in Trenchtown, and I do a lot of tours, and they come because of the music, most of the time. So most of the time it's because of music, and because Bob Marley kind of just brought that into play, or the Bunny Wailer and the Peter Tosh, and people know that. And because of that, the music brings people here for the most part. And then a lot of people say the people keep them here and bring them back because of our essence and our aura. And Bob Marley said the natural mystic that flows through the air, right? So it's mainly music, but we have so many other art forms that contribute, like dance and drama and all of that, because Jamaicans are very dramatic people, so.
But then how come the other art forms are not as prominent as music?
I will say that visual communication is prominent because visual art, well, visual communication, which is graphic design, photography, persons need their own identity. Persons want their own identity, especially in the whole graphic industry. Companies want to be identified as, yes, we're this type of persons. So basically, I would say visual communication and communication is the key in today's society. So I will say visual communication. So it is visual communication along with the music, because you need music to communicate as well. So
yeah, I think everything summarizes under media and communication. When you look at what the colleges offer, that's what they package it as, media and communication.
So it is relevant, and you're saying that there are different ways to basically to show our prominence in terms of our art forms. But when is the last time you've ever been to like a public gallery or an exhibition to see our art on display? As creatives, do you support the sector and industry?
Well, I do. I haven't been to the National Gallery in a while, but I've been there a few times. As well as there are forums that support artists. For example, you have Kingston Creatives, who have different projects that they do every month.
Phenomenal work.
Yeah,
and the other day they did murals in Trenchtown and downtown.
the National Gallery also puts on a show every last Sunday of the month.
You say it like you don't go.
It put on a show every last Sunday.
And it is free to members of the public.
Free.
At what point did you find out that these shows were free?
I attended Edna Manley College, so Edna students get the chance to go to the gallery for free.
They feed you into these channels.
Yes.
But for your friends, the general population, how is that being communicated to them?
I personally don't think Jamaicans support Jamaican art. For some reason, I don't know why. Jamaicans don't support or... Yes, they don't, because, all right, example. Growing up, it's normally in the traditional household, right? Yet, occupation is seen as a lawyer, a doctor, a teacher. There's no way you can say, Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a graphic designer. She was like, what is that? Does that pay? The first thing parents will probably ask is, how much money I make from that? Like, it's not seen as a paid job.
But you are going to become a you are already designing stuff, and that's the area you want to focus on.
Because we had to convince our parents from like an early age. So it's like, Mommy, listen, I want to do graphic design, and they still like have it in the back of their heads, like, you sure you don't want to go the teacher or something else?
So how did you finalize the convincing? Is it that you did some research online, you showed her some figures, you showed her, what you're being paid right now?
Yes.
What was it like?
Yeah, I had to like go back, do some research. I had to compare the prices that persons overseas make from graphic design to out here. So I had to like show them all figures. That's why I'm at Edna right now. I was like, listen, I want to go to Edna Manley College. So that's how I'm where I am now, because I try to convince them that, listen, the art industry on a whole is very profitable. It is very profitable.
So it is profitable, but if people are not supporting it, how do we say that it is profitable?
All right, touching back to her point, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a disc jock, right?
Disc jock, all right.
Yeah, and like, I kept hearing like, so now I make no money and them thing there, but I was like, I wasn't doing it for the money, I was doing it for the love, right? I like
love
doing
pay
this.
bills?
Right.
No, but I was in high school. I was in high school at the time, right? But looking back at it, and I see a lot of my friends who came up through the same class, like, they're doing it big now, and they're getting booked. And when you call them, you can't really afford for them price. So it does pay.
You feel any sort of regret?
Yeah, definitely. And then even the other day when I went to a karaoke, I saw my bridging playing, and I was like, man, I could have done this. But then my focus is shift now to photography, so not so much regret.
So young people want to think outside of the box, and they want to dabble more in the creative industries. What can be put in place to help to convince more parents to allow them to fly through that sector?
I personally think it should start from the primary level going up to high school, because in high school, persons don't really see visual arts as a subject. Everyone like see the visual arts room where, oh, can I go eat lunch down there or wherever. So I think it should be start from primary. Because why is it that they do prep? They do PEP now, right? PEP. So why is it that it's only persons only focus on maths, English, social studies, and science? Why not visual arts as well?
But when we are in primary and prep school, art is a subject that is mandatory. Everyone does it.
It's not that, like, persons will study for maths, English, social studies, and science, but persons is not putting as much effort in visual arts. Because even in high school as well, like, persons don't really use visual arts, and it's very important.
So how do we change the narrative? We can't just complain. What are we doing to change the narrative?
I think maybe they should have more expos, because JBDC is doing a great job, by the way, because I went to
Jamaica Business Development Corporation.
Yeah, because I was actually a sponsor on their expo last year, and it was the creatives or the future that was their team, and they showed you how to monitor the creative industry and so forth. So a lot of people, all adults and so forth, were there, and they get to see that it's not just a hobby or a side also, like it can become a real career path.
I was gonna say it's part of how we're cultured, right? So it's gonna be hard to change the narrative. It's not gonna be the easiest thing. As he said, there can be forums that are put in place. but how do we get them there, right? I guess because kids don't watch TV as much anymore. They're mostly on social media, the internet. So and people can go into schools, we advertise it, we can do that way.
The JCDC is in the schools with the competitions as well.
I was a part of JC. I guess it's not even the same because even now, because when I'm in school, because I teach dance, right?
At the what level?
I teach at high school and primary school level, right? And they're a part of the JCDC competition. But sometimes when you look at it, and a lot of persons don't want to be involved, or their parents are like, no man, make them stay home and study. They want them to focus on that. So it's a lot of how we're cultured. And again, putting forums in place is a good idea, but we have to work on how we get them there. That's one thing, as well as how when we get them there, what do we tell them? Do we tell them, all right, because we don't want to be starving artists. I always tell my friends, if you're going to do this, don't go in it because you love it, as he said.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be starving artists, you want to be able to pay your rent, your bills, and eat, right? So it's a case where we have to learn the business aspect of it as well. So education is important. So, you know, a business subject along with your art and grooming your art in the way it's supposed to go, right?
So changing our approach to how we look at the industry as well. Another thing I want to ask, have you seen anything that has been novel or super innovative within the creative sector in recent years? In your mind?
No.
What we're doing, are we starving artists and our creativity is stifled? Nothing that you think has been so novel or...
I think because persons are more focusing on the mass production, that they don't really see art, again, because everybody just wants to do everything in bulk and just want to send out. So they're not focusing on the art aspect of it.
You go to Edna currently.
Yes.
We had a Jean Pearson. We have all of these remarkable artists from before. Who is the next Jean? Who is the next, you know?
That's the thing.
Is there going to be a Picasso from Jamaica? Like, who are some of the, you know, do you have any colleagues that are doing exceptional work that you'd like to even mention?
No.
No. So what's the problem? What more we need to do? Or what does the government, the schools, Edna, or art programs, what more needs to be done in your eyes?
I think persons are more focusing on to try fit in, and being an artist, it's not about fitting in. It's really not. Like, persons are fit in, like, art. I see art. I think moving forward, everyone's supposed to not be afraid to build their own brand, to create their own identity. So I think because this society, the norm, like, persons want to fit in. That's the thing. Us artists are not supposed to fit in, and we're trying to be the norm. So I think that's the downfall of the whole art. So
Coffee doesn't fit in. In fact, she's now a Grammy kid.
Yeah,
First solo of females. Coffee's the only one, the only exception to the rule.
I'm talking about the visual aspect of it, not the performance.
I don't think she's the only one. There are many, I can't remember names right now, but there are many upcoming artists. We are upcoming artists. And again, it's something that even her, I was expecting her to say me, because, you know, we don't sell ourselves anymore.
The next question is, what are you bringing to the table? What difference are you adding to the space? As creatives, what are you bringing to the table? So let's start with you, Oshane. What are you bringing to the table when you think of the creative industry and your craft?
All right, so let me talk about photography, right? Anybody can take a picture, but what I bring differently is that I put business strategies in place, right? Tactics and like just the whole customer service. So when my clients meet with me, like they're like, wow, they're blown away by just how I conduct business as a youngster, right? And they have been asking, how long have you been doing this? I would say that I've been taking photos from ever since, but officially I've been doing this for a couple of years.
What's a couple of years, 5?
No, just 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but I actually learned, like I went to a lot of seminars, so I learned the business to entrepreneurship and everything. So I married that with the art to stand out in my field. So it's not just saying, I have a camera, pay me to take some pictures, right? And I also always constantly be thinking and, you know, packaging my stuff. So it's just attractive to people, right? So.
But what makes you different from other photographers out there? Lots of people take wedding photos all the time.
Yeah, I guess it's just how you connect with your customers, really, right? Just making them feel good, like, and having those priceless shots. So I wouldn't say that I'm way big different, but I do know that I have some great shots.
And
so.
you're working on the craft and understanding the business.
Yeah.
For you?
Okay, how I try to sell myself as a graphic designer.
No,
right?
not how you try to sell yourself. What difference are you bringing to the table?
I'm sorry then. Okay, the difference that I'm bringing to the table as a graphic designer is that how people communicate. Personally, I'm trying to develop, or I'm trying to create someone's own identity. Because, example, if a client comes to me as like, listen, I want to design, I want to do something for my company, right? And I was like, I have to ask them, what exactly do you want? Do you have a foundation? Do you have a vision for your company? And based on what they told me, I'll try to build their own brand identity. Because I'm trying to show everyone that it is okay to be individual. Like you have to be I'm sorry.
You are different, so stand out.
Stand out with your own brand identity.
So you're saying getting clarity on the direction and the vision and then executing makes a difference. And then for you, Jazz?
All right. So I make jewelry, but as I mentioned before, I do a lot of stuff. Because I have a very artistic family. So my mom dances, my dad sings, and jewelry making came along the way actually last year. And that was inspired by pretty much just me being in the tourism industry and doing tours and doing music and seeing what people love and want to take something back that means something to them, even with just putting their name and something that represents them on it, even what she said being individual, but not just individual, but taking what they like into perspective. So what color do you want? Or what does this mean to you? Because stones, even stones have different meaning, like what black represents power and empowering and empowerment. Even with wearing, people feel like wearing their birthstone represents them as well. So that's the difference that I bring to the, especially competitive pricing, because a lot of jewelry now, jewelry makers are very expensive. And when I compare prices, I'm like, when I buy my stuff, I'm seeing that I have a lot of the same things, but I don't need to be excessively expensive.
But you also need to pay bills and to survive.
So I do profit, but I make sure that it's affordable for everybody. There are some things that are a lot more expensive than others, but there are also affordable options for everybody.
I actually like to say that being a creative, you're someone that's always adding value, right? So when I meet with clients, I don't try to say, all right, I'm competing against the other market. I'm competing at a value-based price, right? And even when they say they can't afford that, I'll be like, okay, I'll do it for you at this price now, and still showing the 100% value. And then next time, when they see what they're getting, they're like blown away. And then next time, they're willing to pay full without asking a question. Yeah.
Somebody else.
Are there any specific art shows that you think are staples on your social calendars?
Well, every month, well, most months, I go to the Art Walk downtown every last Sunday. So I do that, as well as there are lots of different shows that happen in my community, because as I said, it's Trenchtown, so...
Mecca of reggae almost.
Yes, the Mecca and Mecca of reggae, the birthplace of reggae.
Do you think it's still as vibrant as it was before?
I guess it's because of the stigma that's attached, because of the violence and stuff. I still think it is, because every time I say to somebody I'm from Trenchtown, they're like, oh, Bob Marley. And that's the first thing that comes to their mind, reggae music and everything. So it still is.
Okay, so you're doing quite a bit of activities within Trenchtown.
Yes.
Okay, anything that's a staple? I mean, across the entire year, you know, is there anything you look forward to each year? Any kind of show, any kind of exhibition, anything at all?
For me, because the graphic design is not originally a culture from Jamaica, cultured from Jamaica, right? So there is this show overseas.
I mean, I disagree. It's not the art of making things. We do it all the time. In fact, we're inspiring other people.
I hate you asked about
Anything that you look forward to.
yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you look forward to?
I look forward to the New York show exhibition, the art show exhibition with Stefan Sagmeisters and those other graphic designers from New York.
How often does that occur in the year?
It happens every year.
Once per year?
Once per year.
Okay, and one day you're going to go?
Even last year, they sent out some of their works out here at the Edna Manley Cage Gallery, and it was there for like 3 weeks or more. So it was interesting. It's like persons don't have to like fly over there to see. They sent it out here. So it would be awesome if we actually get the chance to send it back, send our work over there to their art institution as well.
Okay, so some exchange, cultural exchange.
Cultural exchange.
There's
Anything you look forward
this actual show called the Apollo series, right? It's a new and upcoming show, and it's been getting a lot of traction, right? I've been there once, and the artists that perform are some very good artists, upcoming artists, which you wouldn't really know a lot of, right? So, like, that show is something, when I see them post, they don't really have a particular time, but when I see them post, I always look forward to it because I know it's great talent.
Great talent coming to the fore. Well, the consensus really is that it's not just enough to have passion and to have an art form, but understanding the business and the sustainability of it makes a big difference.
Yes.
We all have different things that we look forward to on the calendars, whether it's a monthly thing, working in our home communities, or just our ideas that we want to now extend overseas and just supporting local talent. Oshane, Kimmone, Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing your views. All right, that's it for Youth Forum this morning. We now pause for a cause. More Sunrise after these messages.